I was looking at a past live of Cynthia G's. I'm still watching it. I'm not finished yet. But I stopped on the part where she was playing the video, and her last live was, because today is December 20th, 2025. Her last live was, if women should not want men for money, then what should they want them for? It might not be those exact words, but it's along those lines. If women shouldn't want men for money, then what should they want them for? Because people love to say love. People love to say love, and I don't see anything wrong with that if women who are actually in a relationship and women who are actually in marriages actually felt like they were supported and loved by their spouses and boyfriends or whatever. There's a lot of women who feel lonely in their relationships. Okay, they're in their relationships and they feel like they are by themselves. Okay, so love is not going to work because it's almost like it's not even real when it comes to the human being. Okay, women can love, and I'm not saying that a man can't love, but there's a lot of women who feel very lonely and unheard, like they're not being heard, they're taken for granted. And so many women who have that same complaint over and over again, that love is not going to do it. Okay, but even if it was love, real love, you cannot live in an area like the United States of America, a capitalistic type of society. You cannot live in an area like this and talk about you're only marrying for love and you don't care about no money. That means somebody's going to be the one paying all the bills. And if he ain't got it, it's going to be you. And let me tell you something else about that before I get to Cynthia G in this day. I was looking at it. I don't know how many people watch Married to Medicine, but I was looking at the last episode of Married to Medicine that came out this past Sunday, which was December I don't know, this past Sunday. Today is the 20th. I don't know what this past Sunday, I don't know which date that was. But anyway, this past Sunday is episode 3, okay? Season 12, episode 3. Okay? And it was about Simone having a conversation with her son, talking about how he'll have to try to get scholarships or take out loans or something so he can go to law school because she is trying to retire. And I think what pushed her over the edge, not that I really know, but I feel like what pushed her over the edge to have that conversation is because they are beyond privileged. They are spoiled. They're spoiled like they're rich kids. Okay, there's a difference between just being a little privileged, and it's another reason. There's another it's another thing to be like so spoiled that you're literally like privileged rich kids that live in Bel Air. Okay, she talked about her Chase card and how he rented up that card in 1 year. It was $60,000, and he's not even having to pay rent. If part of that $60,000 went to his rent, I can probably understand that because 1 year rent could cost over $20,000 or more. I can see part of that going to rent and food and whatever. It's not going to rent. Now, it might go to food, but she was paying the rent. And if she's paying the rent and she paid for his Jeep, then the only thing he got to do is put gas in the car and pay for his own food. And yeah, he might want to hang out every now and then, but he spent $60,000. Okay, you spent $60,000 and your basic necessities were already taken care of. So you just pretty much wasted $60,000 on partying and food and drinks, and probably spending money on other women, on your mother's die. And she gave him the card to just splurge with. Okay, and it's the 22-year-old. I think this is the youngest one. Okay, not the other one, the youngest one. And so she talked about how he's gonna have to take out loans and get scholarships or something to pay for law school, and he just got so upset. And she's talking about how she's trying to retire. And she talked about how, when she had to go to medical school and all of that, she had to take out loans and all that stuff. And the son argument was like, well, your mother couldn't provide for you the way you're able to provide for us. See, he's saying you. Not one time did the son mention anything about the father. He's looking at his mother. He's talked about how white kids, parents, rich white kids' parents take care of everything. Okay, when he talked about the rich white kids, he mentioned parents, meaning the both of them, right? He mentioned the parents. But he's looking at her. So you can, like, no, see, that's the problem. It's just her. It's her money. And you know what? When people are in a marriage, you can say that the money belongs to them and their spouse. But when you are working hard for your money and you're putting blood, sweat, and tears and to get your money, even when you're married, it's hard to say ours, even though the court might recognize it as both of your money, even though you work so hard to get it on your own. It's hard. It's hard to say, oh, this is our money. You went out and busted your butt to get $1. It's hard to say this belongs to the both of us when both of us were not busting our butt to get the money. If I was the only one out busting my butt to get paid, to get money, then it's not ours. It has to be mine. Now, that show Married to Medicine, I feel like, yes, something should go to the husband because he is part of that show and the husbands don't get paid. So, yeah, I feel like that should be in our money because he definitely contributes to the show. But anyway, so the son got upset, okay, and then the husband wanted to take the son's side, okay. He wanted to take, instead of taking Simone's side, Cecil wanted to go along with the son, okay. And then towards the end of the show, at the end of the episode, Simone was talking about how she's thinking about just leaving her husband, how she's thinking about leaving Cecil. Now, this is not the first time Simone wanted to leave Cecil. Okay, it was when he got laid off from his IT job. He did not want to work. He took forever to work, and Simone had to threaten to leave him then in order for him to get a job. And then I guess he got a real estate license. That lets me know that Cecil is pretty smart because real estate, that real estate license and all that stuff, a lot of people talk about how hard it is. And he went to school for IT, so he was already, Cecil is not a dumb person, but she had to threaten to leave him before in order for him to get back to work so she wouldn't be stuck paying all the bills. I say that to say that marrying for love, getting back on marrying for love. So Simone was talking about how she wanted to, and I know she was upset because I know that episode was a few months ago. And so I don't know if she still feel that way now, right? But at the time, she was really strongly thinking about leaving him. And when you keep having those thoughts too many times, it's not working out. It'll be different if it's the first time she felt that way. She keeps feeling that way about him. It's not working out. It's not working out. Her son looked at her as the provider. Not one time did he look at Cecil's eyes, his father. Not one time did he look at Cecil's eyes and asking him to pay for law school. His eyes was right on his mother as the provider, while his father was sitting right there at the table. Okay, and so marrying for love, okay? The problem with love is also look at Todd and Candy. Todd is probably he's trying to get rid of the prenup, and Candy is probably going to be paying child support. He's trying to get full custody of the kids, and Candy is probably going to be paying child support and alimony. All this talk about marrying for love, okay? And I saw somebody did a video about all these rich women, celebrities who married men who did not make as much, and this goes for white women too, like Madonna, like what's that lady? I forget her name, but she ended up paying she ended up paying a good amount of money to her husband. Britney Spears ended up paying a lot of money to her ex. Right, and we know about Mary J. Blige and Wendy Williams and Jennifer Hudson and other women, just women, period. Men, to me, seem like they know how to get the bag better than women do. Okay. So the thing about Simone is that, and it's love and just marrying for love and not caring about money, is that men know how to collect alimony. Men know how to get money better than a woman can. If Simone was to actually want to leave Cecil and she is the breadwinner, she would end up paying him alimony. She would end up paying him alimony. So, like, if she was, even if she really, really wanted to leave him, she would lose a lot of money. More than likely, she would lose a lot of money. Okay. I saw this thing where this, it was I forgot whose channel it was, but she was talking about the person who mentored Madam C.J. Walker. And a lot of people talked about how Madam C.J. Walker took her idea and made a lot of money off of it, and it was actually this lady's idea. But this lady married a husband that made less than her too. Okay. And then when they got divorced, he took her for almost everything she had, right? He took her for a lot of money. So these men been knowing how to get money. They been knowing how to, you know. It looked like the court wasn't on the woman's side, you know. But that's what I'm saying. When you're getting out to this marrying for love and not for money, and you're the breadwinner, somebody's going to have to pay the bills, because we're living in a society where it takes money. You have to pay bills. So if he don't have the money, then the woman is going to have the money. And then if you mess around and get married because you feel like it's all about love, okay, and you don't care about his money, okay, and then you get divorced, he's not going to have that same sentiment. He's going to take your money. Okay. But I want to get to this thing about what Cynthia G was this video that Cynthia G showed on her last video about if women shouldn't want men for money, what should they want? And so we get to the video, the first video that she played. And it showed a man, a Caucasian man, talking about how human beings are the only male species that attack its own. You have no other male species, like animals. I don't care what kind of species it is. You don't have any other male that attacks its own the way the human male attacks its women and children. You don't see the male species devouring its own, right? I'm talking about its own, right? The way you have the human male that devours women and children. But I'm going to stick to the women part. And I thought about that, and I said that is because of patriarchal religions. Patriarchal religion have demonized the woman and said that the woman is the devil, that the woman is evil, okay? That the woman is not worth anything. And then patriarchal religion will have you believe that the woman came from the man. So if the woman came from the man, like Cynthia G said in her video, there should be no low birth rates. If God took, and I already know what that God was, okay? But if God took Adam's rib and created Eve, then there should be no low birth rates. It should be able to happen again. You should not depend on the woman's womb to give birth. If God was already able to pull a woman out of a man, then there should be you should not have to depend on the womb to create a human child. Okay, but see, that's the story that we're given in a reversed world, because this is a reversed world, and a reversed world means that it's nothing but lies. People are not enlightened. It's the dark ages. The dark ages mean that people are not enlightened. Everything is a lie. Everything is a lie. Now, I'm not saying that the Bible is completely a lie, because I know there's a lot of stuff in there that's ancient, and it's been copied and pasted and hijacked, and a lot of people's identities were hijacked, right? So I know that. But yeah. But I said, you know what? It's because of religion, and the reason why I feel like it's because of religion is because when you actually look at people who live in nature, like literally people who live in nature without any kind of indoctrination at all, I don't feel like their women are mistreated. When I look at these documentaries and look at some of these people go visit these folks that's just in nature, like literally just in nature, they barely, they not wearing clothes and stuff, you know, they living amongst the jungle. I don't think they mistreating their women like that, because a lot of them, their God is nature. And so if your God is nature, you're not going to mistreat the woman, because that's not how nature is. That's not nature. So you're going against nature. And so when you have these people, that these tribes that live out in the just amongst the trees, and they're not indoctrinated by anybody, by this society, by patriarchy, by religion, when they're not indoctrinated and they're not going to these schools and getting indoctrinated, but they're living amongst nature, and they allow nature to give them direction, more than likely they are not abusing their women, because they live by nature. And abusing your women and abusing your children is going against nature. So I feel like a lot, and that same thing goes with the animals. They go by nature. Nobody is telling them what to do. They literally go by nature. And people, men, a lot of men are indoctrinated by patriarchal religions, as well as women are indoctrinated by patriarchal religion. And so I feel like that's why the people, human beings, are so turned upside down. But anyway, that is it, and I will talk later.